There we go. Okay, I hope you all are well and welcome to the DeloX introduction to DeloX. So it'll be good. So it's a great way for you to learn how to do HFX or high frequency Forex trading with Delorean. And it's something that's going to be amazing. The Delorean education is going to be outstanding. There's going to be a Delorean X trader educator on the platform very soon, soon to be announced in time for convention. So a great way for you to trade with someone live as well, but it's a great way for you to get the hang of it before it happens. So what is Delorean? Delorean is a simple interface alert panel. It has clickable elements and it's an arrow system. So it's very simple and easy to use, and it's web-based. So it's based on the web. So you have to log into the website. So you go to Delorean.im when you have Delorean. It's a great tool. So the interface, like I said, is very simple and very easy. Clear alert panel on the side. You can get access to the education from the educators as well, so you know when you're trading with them and so forth. So you'll be able to trade with them and develop your skills and knowledge of what they are doing and how they can help you in terms of your education as well. So everything you need is all there. But we're going to be focusing on the hyperdrive option of Delorean. Now, hyperdrive is different to normal Delorean. Normal Delorean has the 15-minute, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 4 hour, and even daily time frames. But with hyperdrive, it goes to a smaller time frame of 5 minutes. Now, the alerts for that, there won't be any alerts for that because there will be so many trades that come out. So there won't be any alerts for this. So the alerts will be more accessible for the longer time frame ones. But in terms of the HFX trading, we're going to focus on the hyperdrive. Now, the same concept applies when it comes to Delorean and how to trade Delorean, with the rules and everything else, which I'll go over with you. So how do we do it? How do we sort our accounts out when we're trading into HFX? So the type of accounts you're going to obviously have one account that you're compound to have a 5% target a day. And you constantly build that up over 2 to 5 years. But we always say that you should not put all your money into one trading account, because sometimes you'll get to the point where you hit your target and then you want to try different things. So we can say you have a flip account. So account you're going to basically try out new things, over leverage, but also have a call account to take on your call trades, or a put account. But you won't execute these until you've completed your target for the day. So always hit your target, 5% compound target, and then leave that account and then focus on some smaller ones that you can build up as well. So like I always say, have separate accounts and build them up. But when we talk about compounding and building up your account, the goal is obviously to have a 5% daily target. So 5% times by 5 trading days equals 25% gain. But we also have human error. So I always have a rule in place that if I lose 5% a day, I stop for the day. And you'll notice that in a bit in the next slide. Now, the key thing is also knowing your goal. So your goal could be 15% a week. Now, 50% times by 4 weeks is 60% gain on your account. So if you see 500 here and you got 60% growth here, that's 800. So you're building it up, and over a year, you've maximized your account to a high potential. So it's basically understanding it. Now, this compound rule applies to many different things, and you can use it in many different strategies. It's something I follow, and I can easily compound my account. Risk management is very key, and it's important when you come to trading, especially HFX. So when we determine our risk per trade, it's very important. We need to know how much we're trading each trade. We're not going to go in and just put in whatever. How much you should risk. I always say to people between 1 to 3% per trade. And why I should limit risk is basically the amount of trades that you take determines how many losses you can take before losing the principal amount of your account. So when I work out and calculate my risk, I look at my account size and then divide it by 100. So basically it's 100%. Then I multiply it by the percentage that I want to trade. So if it's 2%, so my account size is 500, I divide it by 100 and I multiply it by 2. So then my 2% trade will be £10. I always say have an overall daily target of 5%, which I mentioned earlier. Each trade 1 to 3% per trade, and a maximum loss of 5%. If you lose 5%, you're basically done for the day. So the key thing is always to work out your daily target before you trade, how much you're going to be trading per trade, and also your maximum loss. So you know everything beforehand. So you know everything's clear, you understand what you're doing and so forth. And that's what's key. Another thing that you need to think about is what you're going to do in terms of your education when you're trading Delorean, and especially Delorean X. The key thing is for you to understand the basic concept of Delorean. These rules still apply. So when we're talking about it, and you go live and you have Delorean, you can watch Patrick Kenny's Delorean sessions. When you go in there, if you check his favorites, he has a boot camp. I always say watch videos 1 to 4, which covers everything that you need to learn and understand about Delorean. The free COL, 3 candles or less, is also in any Delorean video. You'll learn about that. But when you want to learn about KC, Exit University, you need to go to Tyrone's section. Go to his favorite videos, and from there you'll be able to find his Exit University to teach you how to exit trades. But also Delo in Minutes, the video, the Mango right here. This is what covers the concepts. But what I'm going to be doing is obviously briefly covering the basic concepts of Delorean. Free COL, I'll be covering that today. Exit University and obviously Delorean in Minutes is basically what I'm doing right now. So you could get all the basic stuff that you need to learn how to trade DeloX all right here on this session. So the key things that you need to remember and need to understand and look out for are the different arrows. With Delorean, they present you with 2 arrows. Blue one, which is going up for a buy, and a red one for a sell. It's very simple and very easy. You just need to look out for the arrows, and then you know what trade you're going in for. But the key thing is understanding the 4 steps of Delorean. BCLS. Bigger, cut, location, and space. These 4 steps are very important for you to understand when to go into a trade. You need to make sure you have yeses on all 4 of these before you can go into the trade. So if we look at a sell, we can see here, we're going for a sell right here. So this is a sell. So the first step, if we look at it, when we look at the arrow, it should be a red arrow pointing down. We look at the 2 candles to the left of the arrow. So you've got to look at the 2 candles to the left of the arrow. Is the red candle bigger than the blue? Okay, so is the red candle bigger than the blue? You need to look at that. Then look at the other one. Afterwards, does the red line cut through both candle bodies? So you need to look at that as well. Then afterwards, you need to look at how you're going to look at the trade as well. So the key things are that you need to make sure you understand what you are doing, and from there. So is the red line cutting through both candle bodies? And then you go, is the gray, aqua, or blue lines closely above the 2 candles? Okay, so you look at it there. Yes or no? Did you make sure that the gray, aqua, or blue lines are not closely below? So when you've done all those and you get yeses on all of those, you take the trade. And it's very simple and very easy for you to do. So then you don't need to, you can worry about that and then get it all done. And it's that easy. Okay, so when we look at things like a buy, you can see from there, step 1, look at the 2 candles to the left of the arrow. Is the blue candle bigger than the red? Yes or no? Yes. 2, does the red line cut through both candle bodies? Yes. Then is the grey, aqua, blue line closely below the 2 candles? And did you make sure that the grey, aqua, blue lines are closely above? Now this one here, step 3, and including it on the sell, when it says closely below, there's also an added bit in there, or cutting through. So you have that concept or idea, the line can cut through as well. And when we say close, because it's a smaller time frame, we mean basically within 2 to 3 pips. The same here, more than 2 to 3 pips. So let's have a look at the example. So if we look at this one here, it's very simple and very easy for you to understand. And let me just key things that you need to know and understand from it. So we're going to look at this example here. So we always say when an arrow comes up, before we begin, we will focus on the 2 candles to the left of each arrow. So we're going to go for these steps here, and we can see here is the red arrow. So we look at these two candles here. Now we look at it, and the first step is the red candle bigger than the blue? We can see that it's bigger than the blue. Is the red line cutting through both candle bodies? Or, you go candle bodies, there we go. Yes, it is. The red line cuts through both candle bodies. Here, is the grey arc or blue line closely above the two candles? So we can see it's quite close above, so that's great. Good. Did you make sure that the grey arc or blue lines are not closely below? There is nothing closely below, so great, we go into that trade. And I'll explain to you how you can make multiple trades down this whole line here. And that's what's amazing about this. Once you have basically done this, you can just go into trades constantly. You don't need to look back and see if it's done those steps, because you've just done the 4 steps. The only thing you need to look out for is when to enter those different lines. So if we look at a buy, we can see here similar sort of thing. So if we look at here, we look at the arrow that comes up here, like so. So we see the arrow, and everything is very clear for you to understand. And then we look at it there, and we know what we are doing. So if we look at it here, so is the blue candle bigger than the red? Yes. Is the red line cutting through both candle bodies? Is the grey arc or blue lines closely below or cutting through? They're closely below. Excellent. And is there no grey arc or blue lines above? There is nothing there. We would take the trade. Very simple, very easy to follow and understand. And that's what's amazing about this, that you can easily do this and then understand the whole concept of what you're going to be doing. So it's amazing and straightforward. Now, when we talk about it, the times to trade DeLorean, oops, there we go. The times to trade DeLorean is the key things I will always say to people. The best times to trade. Now, the worst times to trade are 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. UK time. Now, it's because the market is quite slow, it's not moving. I highly recommend that there are educators in the morning that you can trade with. So the likes of Millie Mills or Christian Lopez or even Arlette, they trade in the mornings now, early in the morning. So you're not going to get many trades that time. So when we talk about 3 plays per arrow, so we can see here when we put arrows, you're not going to get many trades. So these are different plays, these lines here are different plays. So trade with the educators and they'll be able to help you. 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. UK time, the volume starts picking up because it's around about 8:30 p.m. because London session's about to start. So it's during London time. So a lot of Delo plays around that time. Now the ideal time is between 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Absolute best time you can trade. There's even a better time like 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. But you can trade 5 p.m. There's no problem about that. So these are great time, high volume, loads of movements in the market, London and also New York. Great time to trade. So there are 4 types of DeloX plays. Okay, 4 types of DeloX plays. Then this is what I'm talking to you about when you go into a trade. You've done your 4 steps. Now it's understanding when to enter the trades and how many times you can enter. Okay, so the 4 types. The first type you have is free COL, 3 candles or less rule. So you set a trade for 15 minutes. So you can go into that trade for 15 minutes. So on average, 1 trade per arrow. Then you've got no line. So you're not going in, you're going in for an aggressive entry. If it meets what your expectations, like the 4 steps, then you can go into the trade. You're not waiting for a pullback. Whereas you have the yellow line, it's most active. So when we're talking about the most active with the yellow line is that when your trade comes down here, basically the candle comes down here, the price comes here, you can enter the trade and you can enter that trade for 3 minutes. And here, if it's a red line, it's the most accurate point. So if it pulls back to the red line, then you can enter the trade for 3 minutes. These are quite rare. It's not the most, it happens the most, but it can happen. But you can basically, the yellow ones is more like it happens the most. So like I said, the best time to trade, you can do 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. and overall best time 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you can do that as well, but you can do those times. But like I said, late at night, you're not going to get many trades coming in and so forth. Okay, so you can see here how many losses you can make and how many plays and so forth. Okay, so then you can do that. So the key thing is for you to understand is understanding how we can do this. The key thing when you look at Delorean, and I'll show you right now, I always tell people to do this. It's not doesn't come as standard in Delorean when you have the timer on. So if I go here and I go to strategies and then hyperdrive, you can see that the timer is not on. So I always make sure I put it on so I can see how much longer I've got on a candle. So it's very easy to do. So if I right click on it, right click anywhere on the white space, move my mouse down to properties, and then from there I go to scales and I add the countdown. And there you go, you can see it's added. So then you know how long you've got left on a candle, which is great. So usually there's a pullback in the first couple of minutes, so it's just great. So let me get back to the presentation. So you can see here, you can get that in, get the timer. Now hyperdrive arrow calls 5 minutes. There's a play every 5 minutes when an arrow after the arrow is called. So once you've done your 4 steps, all you need to do is wait for the pullbacks to either the lines or even you go in aggressively. But I always wait for when it pulls back to the lines. So then you can keep going and going and going and going because you've already done the first 4 steps. So all you need to do is just wait for the pullback and go in, and you can wait for the next candle and go in. You've got the 3 candle or less rule and so forth. So this is for the buy and this is for the sell. So obviously it's the opposite direction. You've got the 3 COL, same thing again, 3 candle or less rule. So you're going in for 15 minutes. No line, which is the aggressive. So you're just going in aggressively, not waiting for a pullback. You just go in. Yes, it's done the 4 steps. I go in. You can do the yellow line when you wait for it to pull back to the yellow line. So you enter the trade there. Or the red line when you enter it, but what's the red line? You enter the trade there. Simple and straightforward. Now the 3 candle or less rule. Now we use this in Forex trading when we do Delorean. So we have the 3 candle or less rule. So you're going in for 3. So the same concept works in HFX as well. So you could go into a trade for 15 minutes and then basically you've done the 3 candles. So let me explain to you how that works. So you can see here, we've got the red arrow here, everything ticks off and so forth. Now we're going for a trade on this candle for 15 minutes. We might have waited for it to pull to yellow or the red line, but we've gone in for 15 minutes. So we've done this candle, 5, 10, and 15. We've entered here and closed here. So we won the trade in 15 minutes, a long trade, 3 candles or less rule. So you could easily win that trade in 3 candles. Done. So when we're talking about the 3 candle less rule, we have the timer. So we don't have a 1 minute 3 candle trade. So we're going to have the 5 minutes. So we have a 5 minutes here. So it's 15 minutes. Okay. Longer times when you're older traditional Delorean, you'll have the longer time frames. So in profit after 3 candles, you can see here, this is done. Great. Pull back. We've gone into the trade. 5, 10, 15. You see all the way down here, we entered here and it basically closed there. 15-minute trade, 1 trade, done. And you can see there's so many of them here. We could enter here aggressively or wait for it to pull back to the line and everything else. So it's all stuff there that you can easily do and do that very, very easily and clearly. So you can easily do that and everything else. There we go. And you can easily do it very, very clearly and easily and so forth. So you can pull it back and you can see here like so. So it pulls back here and you go into this trade, 5, 10, and you think, oh, bang, 15, we won there. Here as well. So the trade pulls back. We enter here, great, 5, 10, 15, we won there. So we entered here and we won that trade there. Amazing. Here, same thing again. 5, 10, 15, we closed there, we won that trade. It just carries on that easily and that way. So you've gone in here, 5, 10, 15, we entered here, we closed up here, we've won that trade. Simple. And more and more and more and more of them. So you can see for yourself. Now the next type is the bloodline. Now the bloodline works in a special way and doing it and so forth. And everything else you can do. So the bloodline works is very simple and very easy to do. So if I want to show you what it is, there we go. So I'm going to show you the bloodline. So what will happen is you're waiting for that pullback to the red line. Okay. So what happens with most trades, they pull back. So it's high accuracy with the bloodline, but it doesn't happen most of the time, but they do pull back. So trades do pull back. So we're waiting for it. When it pulls back to the line, to the candle here, the line here, you will enter the trade. So if I show you, let me show you Delorean, for example. So if I go here, and then we have a look, for example, so you can see for yourself. So let's look at this candle just for an example. What will happen is price would have come up here and would have gone down to this line here. So when you're looking at a trade, you're going, okay, I'm waiting for the trade to pull back to this line. You would have basically had your mouse there and you look at the last 3 digits on their side here. So you'll know what you're going in for, which will be 904, for example. So you wait for it to pull back and it's gone back there. You would enter that trade here and the candle would have closed all the way up here. So you would have won that trade. So that's what's amazing about this, is that you can pull back here and you go for a 3-minute fixed time. Okay, 3-minute fixed. So you can see here it goes up here and you can see it goes down here for the call. So you can see here, bang. So you can do it that way. All right. So let me show you some examples. So you can see here, we've gone this concept here, we've gone in here. It pulled back to this one, we went in for 3 minutes and won that trade. Simple. So you can see here, let me just get that up for you. So it pulled back, you won there. This one didn't pull back to the red, so we wouldn't enter that one. And we would have seen, so we wouldn't get many of them doing that. But you can see here, it pulled back to the red line, you would enter that one. This one pulled back to the red line, you would enter that one and won that trade. This one here, pull back to the red line, you won that trade. So with the red one, it's more like it does happen. So you can see here, pull back just about here, it pulled back here. So you would have had a few, but you wouldn't have any more here, and so forth. So you can easily do those there. But also, in addition to that, you can do the free COL trades. So you can go for 2 trades, one for 15 minutes, and then you can do multiple 3-minute trades as well. Once you've done your checklist, you don't need to go back over the 4 steps. You just need to wait for the price to head towards the red line and soon to be the yellow line, which I'll show you in a minute. So yellow line, we call it the yellow brick road. So when price calls back to the yellow line, that's when we're going to enter. So you're looking for the price and waiting for the pullback. You know the certain number around about the area and you go for it. So it pulls back there, you go in, great. 80% of pullbacks happen and they happen towards the yellow brick road. So you can pull back there and you can go into that trade. So you can see here, pulls back, you enter the trade and you go in for 3-minute fixed. Now, like I always say, when I trade, I do a fixed time, 2 to 5 minutes, but I do 3 minutes. And it usually takes 1 to 2 minutes for a pullback to happen to the yellow line. Now, they will officially touch for a direct entry. Anything before is classed as aggressive. So you're trying to go in before it touches. That's an aggressive play. And the objective is to get as close to the yellow line as possible and call trades anything above the yellow and puts anything below the yellow. Okay, so you got to go for those. So I'll show you some examples here. And the key thing is to understand, oops, there we go. The key thing is to understand how it works. So when it pulls back to the yellow line, you would have entered here. So you see this yellow line here. We would have gone in for 3 minutes fixed. Bang, we would have won that trade. This one's pulled back. We've entered here. It closed just here, just above. So we won that trade. This one pulled back, entered here. It closed up here. Pulled back. We would have just about won that one. This one pulled back to the yellow line. We entered here, but it pulled back further. But we won that trade. So you can get into multiple trades. Here you would have entered here, and it would just about won that one. Pull back here. You just about entered that one, and here, bang. So you have multiple times when it pulls back to the yellow line, you can enter and win the trade. You don't need to do the 4 steps again. You just do it once. You're just looking for the pullback and so forth. So it pulls back, bang, done. Pull back here, entered here, it won there. Pull back to here, and not enter that one. I would have entered this one, come here, won there, and so forth. You can see here, 11 wins and 1 loss. You've done your 4 steps. It ticks it off. All you're doing is waiting for it to pull back to the line, you enter. Pull back to the line, enter. But don't worry, don't forget the free COO as well. So you can do a 15-minute trade, 15-minute one, and as well as waiting for it to pull back to the yellow line and enter those trades. You can see here, it's a session amount of trades you can go into. Now, the aggressive move is basically when you've done the 4 steps and you're happy with it, you might go in earlier. You might wait for it to pull back or not. But if with aggressive play, done it, I go in. But these ones can be done for 1-minute trades. Okay, so every time when the pullback, there's a slight pullback, you can go in for a 1-minute fixed trade. So you might go in and that's it. So I've had people I've traded with, and I've done 4 trades and I've won, and they've done 60. They're going a bit too aggressive because they're going back in because, well, it's 5 minutes. There's five 1 minutes in a 5-minute candle. So you could basically go in for 5 times. And the same for applies. So you're going in aggressively. You're not waiting for it to pull back to the yellow or the red line. You're going in aggressively. So you can see here, as you can see, there's so many opportunities to go in, but these are 5-minute candles. So on a 1-minute trade, the number of wins considerably higher. But also, it's a 5-minute candle, so 5 1-minute per trade per candle. So you can go in, bang, 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 and do it that way. Now, to trade aggressively, you can change the view of Delorean. So let me just get a view right now, and I'll show you how to do that. So obviously with Delorean, we can't really do the 1 minute. So if I change it to 1 minute, it doesn't show anything here. So if I click the back button, like so, and I click on the globe, there we go. It'll take me to the trading view option. So the key thing is when you're doing the hyperdrive, it's going to give you Delorean plays. So the key thing I will say to people is obviously look on hyperdrive, you look for the Delorean play first. So I'm here, I find a Delorean play, it meets everything I'm looking for, great. So bang, 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 yep, GPNZD. So I go back, I click on the globe, I change the view of it. Now I can go here, put into 1 minute. I'm going to click on here and delete this and this one here. And there we go. So I've got the 1 minute time frame. I can change the currency pair to GBP/NZD. And I select that. There we go. Now I like choosing FXCM because it is close enough to the broker. Now afterwards, I'm going to add the indicators in. So I'm going to add the EMA. And I'm going to add it in twice. There we go. We're going to change the settings. So when we talk about changing the settings for the EMAs, the first one is going to be changed to 5 and be a yellow. The next one's going to change to 13 and be red. So if I do it here, like so. So then I'm just going to click here, change the settings, and I'll just change that to 5 and yellow. I'll make the line a bit thicker. There we go. And then I click on OK. This one here, I'll change it to red, make that line thicker, and click on OK. So then you've got it. You know what currency pair you looked at, you've seen the DeLoreans. Great. But now you can go in for 1 minute trades. And what they're pulling back to, they're pulling back to the yellow and the red line. But these are 1 minute candles. So you can actually trade DeLorean in 1 minute now and not wait for the pullback because now you can see it on a 1 minute time frame. The key thing is you've used DeLorean to find that trade. So without DeLorean, you're not able to find the trade that you want on DeLorean. Okay, so the key thing is you need to find that trade, the DeLorean trade. DeLorean will, the software will highlight DeLorean trades. So that's the key thing you need to understand. You can't just aimlessly go into any currency pair and think, oh, this is a DeLorean trade. The software picks out the DeLorean trades based on the first 2 steps. That's what's amazing about the software is that it cuts out, it's a 4-step strategy, but all you need to do is basically focus on steps 3 and 4. So you just need to go, oh, okay, that one, great. I can do it in the 3 minutes on this candle, or I can go to the 1 minute, which is even better. So ways of pausing and stop trading is very important as well. So if we did a put, if a candle closes between the red and the yellow lines, you need to stop trading. That's a pause play. So you don't trade. You need it to either touch the red and you can go into it, but if it closes in between, you pause. You wait for it to close outside where you can basically unpause and wait for it to basically test another candle to the yellow or the red. So you can see here, we've gone into this trade, but you can see here, it's closed in between the red and the yellow. So the blue candle pulled up, it closed there. The next candle has come down, it's closed below, great. We can wait for it to go in and we can start again. It's that simple. Similar thing with the call. Between the yellow and the red, if it closes between them, you pause. You wait for it to close outside again to basically restart the play, and you wait for it to basically touch there and go to the yellow and so forth. So you can see here, you have a pause play here. So the candle pulled back between the two, we paused, wait for it to come back up, it's outside the yellow, great. We can then go for the new play, simple. Game over is basically knowing when to stop trading. Now it means that basically it's called the KC. Okay, we have exit university that goes through that. So when the for a put, when the candle closes above the red, it's game over, no more trades. So you can see we continue taking trades here, but gradually you can see it pulled up here. We would have gone into this trade, and we could have gone into this one and lost this one. But you can see the next candle closed above. We're done. No more trades for that currency pair. Move along. Similarly for a call, price has gone below the red. So then that's the end of it. So you can see here, the price has gone below the red line. Game over. So no more trades after that. So basics, it's always important to understand the basics of HFX and understanding how things work. So price direction, obviously, price is always up and down. So we're always looking for that. The key things is knowing when you enter the trade and what you're expecting to do. Whether it's a 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or even 15-minute trade, you need to know how long you're going to trade for. The key thing is also to look at economic news. There's a website that one of my mentees mentioned to me, it was really good. It's called investing.com. It goes into real good depth. You can still use Forex Factory and so forth, but it's always good to look at your news before you trade. So when you go into investing.com, you can change the country to the one that you want. And then from there, you choose, so say for example, I choose English, UK. It will give me my UK timing, and it will go into greater depth in terms of the currencies, different currencies and countries and so forth. But the 3-star means high volatility expected. So don't trade around that time. I always put a cushion around myself. I try not to trade an hour before, hour after any news, because you can start picking up around that time. So always cushion yourself. Always check the news before you start trading. Brokers, check your currency pairs in payouts for your brokers and so forth. So you can see here, so you can see the different currency pairs and so forth, and the different ones there. Also, when you're setting fixed time on pocket options, you can click on the flag, and then you can set your expiration time so easily, because fixed time. Fixed time means that you're only going to get the full duration of time, and it's not going to get manipulated by the broker. Okay, so you won't get manipulated by the broker, tick there and so forth. If you haven't got Delorean, I say to people, look, add it on, test it out, try it out. There's no problem, and anything else anyway. So it's easy to do, and you can easily get it. So when you go into your IM Academy login and go to your back office, go to your shopping cart, scroll down, and then just tick off Delorean, and then submit your order, and you're done. Or upgrade to Elite, where you have access to Delorean and many, 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 many other different strategies all at your fingertips. And that's our quick introduction to Delorean. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and reach out. But Delorean X is another way for you to trade HFX using the concept of Delorean. So yeah, Have a go, have a try. It's fun, and it's a great addition to your normal package, or even upgrading to Elite.